What really happens when two people love each other deeply, but their lives start moving in opposite directions? That's the question fans are whispering about after a quiet moment on Blake Shelton's ranch turned into something far more unsettling. Because somewhere inside that massive Oklahoma home sits a small anniversary gift Blake chose with more care than anything he's bought in years, and it's still unopened. No one knows why. No one knows what changed, but the silence around that box has become louder than any public statement they've made. Rumors are spreading fast. Nothing dramatic, nothing confirmed, just a growing sense that something is off. A missed moment here, a distant interview there, tiny details adding up in ways fans can't ignore. And strangely, the person who ends up walking straight into this private tension isn't Gwen. It's Kelly Clarkson. How she enters the picture is its own story, one that surprised even people close to them. Because this wasn't just an anniversary, it was supposed to be a reset, and instead it became the spark for the questions everyone's now asking.
That night on the ranch didn't feel like the peaceful, easy kind Blake Shelton usually lives for. People close to him say the air felt heavier than usual, almost like the place was holding its breath. The porch lights were on, the kitchen was spotless, and the house was quiet in a way that didn't match the man who built his life around laughter, music, and slow evenings. Because Blake's world has always been simple by choice. Wide fields, long drives, no rush, no noise. It's the complete opposite of the world Gwen Stefani still moves through. Cameras, rehearsals, fashion meetings, nonstop calls, and a pace that never slows down. For years, that difference was part of their charm. Opposites attract, right? But lately, the rumors say that charm isn't landing the same way. Not in private. Not when the pressure of two different worlds starts to spread thin across one relationship. And on that night, the distance between their lifestyles didn't feel cute or quirky. It felt real. It felt close. And it felt like Blake was finally seeing something he'd been trying to ignore. But what Blake planned for that night wasn't casual.
The gift Blake picked out wasn't something you grab last minute or ordered just because it looks nice. Rumors say it was custom-made, built around a memory only the two of them understood. A moment from early in their relationship that Blake never forgot. Whatever it was, it carried weight. The kind you only give when you're trying to bring someone closer again. The box itself was simple, but the engraving on top wasn't. It had a date. Small, barely noticeable unless you knew what to look for. Fans online have guessed everything from the day they first met to a private moment they never talked about publicly. Some think it was jewelry. Others think it was a sentimental object tied to their time on The Voice. And a few believe it was something even more personal. Something Blake hoped would remind Gwen of where they started before things got complicated. Whatever the truth is, the intention behind it was clear. It wasn't about luxury, it was about connection. It was Blake reaching out in the quiet way he always has. But none of that mattered when the call came in.
Blake had the whole night lined up. Dinner warm, music low, every detail ready. But then the phone rang and everything shifted. Instead of hearing, "I'm on my way," Blake reportedly heard Gwen's voice from Los Angeles. Still in meetings, still on set, still caught in the whirlwind that never seems to end. The official reason? Work, production schedules, last-minute demands. All the things that come with being Gwen Stefani. But to Blake, sitting alone at a table set for two, it didn't sound like work. It sounded like priorities. It sounded like she wasn't choosing the night he'd spent months preparing. And the emotional contrast couldn't have been sharper. Blake waiting in the quiet of Oklahoma, Gwen rushing through the noise of LA, two different worlds colliding in one call. And that's when the mood of the entire night changed, because her absence wasn't just about being late. It felt like something deeper. But the real unraveling didn't start with the call. It started with what didn't happen afterward. That missed anniversary didn't come out of nowhere. It was just the first crack everyone finally noticed. For years, Blake and Gwen tried to blend two totally different worlds. Hollywood glamour on one side, quiet Oklahoma sunsets on the other.
At first, the contrast was cute. It made them feel balanced, even grounded. But now, those worlds are starting to pull them in opposite directions. Gwen is busier than ever, public appearances, brand deals, studio sessions, non-stop pressure to keep her name glowing in lights. She thrives in the noise because it's the world she's mastered. Meanwhile, Blake has stepped away from the spotlight, choosing peace, land, and a slower pace that reminds him who he is. Fans can't help but connect the dots. Some are even speculating that this tension feels eerily familiar, a reminder of Blake's past marriage, where schedules and distance slowly wore love down. Nothing confirmed, of course, but the parallels are hard to ignore. And that's when someone unexpected stepped into the story. Someone who knows the warning signs better than anyone.
When Kelly Clarkson showed up at the ranch, she wasn't coming for drama. She was coming because she hadn't heard from Blake in days. And if anyone knows what silence can mean in a marriage under pressure, it's Kelly. She walked into the kitchen expecting the usual Blake joke, maybe a rough week shrug, but instead she saw something that said more than any words could. The anniversary gift, still sitting exactly where he placed it, unopened, untouched, almost frozen in time. Kelly didn't need explanations. The moment she saw that box, her whole expression shifted. Not shocked, just quietly heartbroken. She knows what it looks like when a moment that should have been special turns into proof of distance. She didn't scold him, she didn't pry, she just offered comfort, the kind of silent support only a friend who's been through her own storms can give. But Kelly's visit only highlighted the bigger question. What happens to a relationship when the one gift meant to bring you closer ends up creating even more distance?
After Kelly left, the story took a turn nobody expected. Blake didn't throw the gift away, and he didn't open it either. According to people close to the situation, he quietly picked up that velvet box, walked into his office, and placed it inside his safe. Not hidden out of anger, but stored like something that still mattered. And that's where the symbolism hits you. A safe isn't where you put things you're done with. It's where you keep things you're not ready to let go of. Some say it means he's protecting the memory tied to that gift. Others think it shows he's stuck in emotional limbo, not moving forward, but not giving up. Of course, it's all speculation. No one knows exactly what he was thinking in that moment, but the image of that unopened box locked away instead of forgotten has sparked the biggest question of all. Is he saving it for hope, or holding on to something that's already slipping away?
In the weeks that followed, fans began noticing things that once felt subtle, but now feel impossible to ignore. Fewer photos together, quieter captions, body language in interviews that looks a little more distant than before. Nothing dramatic, just small signs that spark big conversations. At the same time, Gwen's career has been surging again. New projects, reunions, business launches, a wave of momentum pulling her deeper into the spotlight. Meanwhile, Blake has intentionally stepped back, choosing a slower, quieter life after years of nonstop work. It's not conflict, it's a contrast. Two paths that used to run parallel, now starting to drift. Online, the debate has exploded. Some argue it's the classic clash between ambition and simplicity. Others say it's just a phase, the kind every couple faces when life gets busy. No heroes, no villains, just two people navigating very different seasons of their lives. And from the outside, the cracks that were once whispers are starting to echo.
At the heart of it all, there are no heroes or villains, just two people growing, changing, and sometimes drifting in different directions. What we've shared here is a mix of rumors, speculation, and what fans are noticing from the outside looking in. And through it all, the unopened anniversary gift remains the quiet symbol of everything at stake, a reminder of promises, memories, and the choices we sometimes leave unmade. Will it ever be opened? Will it bring reconciliation? Or will it serve as a marker of distance that can't be bridged? We want to hear your thoughts. What do you think is inside that box? And what would it take to bring Blake and Gwen back together? Share your theories in the comments below.